come and get your BJ with Brandon and Jason. I have a shirt. It's Inception Nation. I don't know. It's like I was going to say Inception, but I couldn't remind. We're so cool. Yeah. Brandon's got dry mouth.
Dry mouth, cotton mouth.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Your Morning BJ. I'm your host, Brandon Allen, along with my co-host,
Jason Latona.
In this episode, we have on an amazing guest, our buddy, Paul Linn. Please, hold your pants up.
Normally we shut
Paul Linn.
Yeah, normally we shut the applause down, but for Paul, he's so nice that we keep it. We kept it a little longer. Yeah.
We'll let it slide.
He's the nicest guy in arm wrestling.
So, boring weekend for arm wrestling.
Yes.
Not much went on at all. We have a lot of things coming up. Amazing weekend for powerlifting.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's been a wild weekend. I was traveling this weekend, so I got to just see like catch up stuff. I didn't watch anything live. But there's several world records were broken.
Wow.
Yeah, this kid Andrew Haas, he's a monster kid. He's 24 years old.
Okay.
But he's coming up and he smashed my total. He beat me by 40 pounds.
You want me to kill him?
No, not at all. He's gonna put, and he did it at 888 pounds in the 308 category, which he could easily make that cut to 275.
And that means his total is even higher, right?
No, his total went.
I mean, but I'm saying,
but it would just be in a lower rank.
Right.
It would be a higher rank.
Yeah.
But this weekend he broke Eric Lillybridge's 308 record, which was a record that Larry Wheels was interested in. But Larry was actually interested in Eric Lillybridge's raw record, not his wrapped record. So this weekend the wrapped one was. So in powerlifting you have raw, right?
Sure.
And then under raw there's two categories. There's raw and then classic raw. And raw is like what we think of as raw, like in knee sleeves, belts, and like wrist wraps, like no wraps, right? And then classic raw is with knee wraps.
Okay.
Like the 1,008-pound squat I did was with knee wraps.
Right.
And then like raw was like 955. But it's they're definitely two different worlds. Some guys get a lot more out of wraps than other guys. That's for sure. But again, anyways, Andrew crushed those records. Deadlift Derek or a death grip Derek, he did a 903 deadlift at like 242 pounds, something crazy. Wow. I think, and he broke the total. I think his total was like 22 something. John Hack had an amazing weekend, like a 2,200 pound total. This guy's 195 pounds, 190 pounds, and he's benching almost 600 pounds. Jesus.
Now, where do you like, for instance, like with our guests who are arm wrestlers, we tell people go on this channel or whatever. Sure. If I'm not familiar with your world, like where would I watch these things? Where do you get like the info from? Like, you know what I'm saying?
King of the Lifts is an Instagram page that posts a lot of the stuff.
Okay.
We can see stuff on it's powerlifting motivation. There's many, just do hashtag powerlifting. And
are there like the Pradeeps and Ryan Bowens and us of this, that are just constantly talking? That's like a weekly powerlifting.
Yeah,
stuff?
That's what I used to do.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Andy Hong, that huge Asian guy that must know him as. We had a podcast and we covered the powerlifting.
I figured that out by this last name. Does that make me? That's racist.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that podcast. But yeah, and then there's other guys that do it, and we wish cover stuff on his channel. But as of up and coming, I wouldn't know because I'm not into it.
Yeah.
So there's like guys that are level like you and I are in arm wrestling. Like I wouldn't know about them.
Right.
Deep into it.
Right. The best of the best, you're saying.
Yeah. There's no like big name guys that are doing it as far as I know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And right.
But anyways, yeah, this weekend was wild with the powerlifting. A lot of good stuff. And then we have an amazing weekend coming.
Yes.
For arm wrestling.
I mean, that's why I can't wait for Paul Linn is our guest. I mean, not only is Paul, like I said, he's the nicest guy in arm wrestling, but he's been there. He made the travel. He's been in Turkey at Istanbul. He's competed at this particular event. He knows.
He's been at both the Monster Factories.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to be at the third, I believe.
I don't know. Is he? Yes, Sarah saying that. We know who is going to be at the third Monster Factory. Our Jamie, right there, Sarah.
Latona.
My wife Sarah is taking on the Mrs. Monster herself, my Mrs. Rebecca Todd. So December 10th. Tune in, support us, Sarah and I, and any way you can, and we'll make some videos and stuff. So it's going to be cool. But like I said, Paul's got the data on all these guys. He's pulled the Europeans, he's pulled the Americans.
Just had a battle with Ron Bath.
Yeah.
Had a battle with BJ Caucus.
Yeah. But it's going to be cool. I want to hear, like I'd like to go through a couple matches like that that are, just to hear Paul's opinion. I'm sure that's, some of the fans and stuff want to hear too. What's Paul think? I mean, I know he's going to want,
of course,
the Americans to win, but just because, I think Paul will give it a pretty objective answer.
Let me see the card.
Yeah.
There's so many matches, man. Like I forget like what's coming up on what.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. I just know I can't pronounce anybody's names. There's like 3 people on the.
I can't. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, big Cody Merritt versus Artem. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, left and right. Artem Morozov's gonna be. I mean, dude, there's so much to talk about. Like as far as,
do you know who's commentating?
Coach Ray, Ryan Bowen, and Derek Smith.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, as far as I know, and I think during their depending on, so I believe Ray and Ryan are the two main commentators. That's why they're going first, because that's a real high profile match, Ray and Ryan, and it's going to open the card. But I believe the reason it is, if I'm not mistaken, is because they're going to do the commentary. And if you notice, Derek Smith is the second match.
Right, get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think they're going to get their stuff out of the way so they can clear their heads and then start the commentary.
Yeah, I couldn't be focused on someone's match.
Oh yeah. I would have
wanted at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Could if their price was right.
Right. No. Yeah, but it's going to be real exciting again. You can just close your eyes and do this, and that's an awesome match. That's what's so cool about that. But also, King of the Table 5.
Huge announcements for King of the Table 5. I'm extremely excited about it, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and I was thinking, okay, stop. Let that be the card. Save the other guys for another card, because you're not going to match what Ingram's doing in terms of volume.
Yeah. The only other thing, what I think would be cool is just to throw a female match. Like I'd love to see Sarah Backman compete if she's interested.
But who?
I don't know. Maybe
you don't just throw a match up there just because. You're not going to take from other guys to give to other people.
No, I'm saying a high profile
match that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just saying, but I know there's European females that are up there. So
but are they King of the Table status? I don't think so. That's more popular.
Yeah, no,
let's see them on the East versus West card, right?
Either way, yeah. But someone, like I said, I'm as a friend.
When you have volume is what I mean. That makes more sense. Where you can get people, sneak people in. But King of the Table is like a super match, like
popularity contest.
Exactly.
It is.
I mean? It really is. It's who's the most relevant and the most top level guys at the moment, right? I'm not trying to put myself in that category. I think I was very fortunate to be there. I just happened to be in the same background as Larry Wills. I'm just talking about how the matches are moving forward.
I don't think anything.
Yeah. So Schoolboy versus Khaled.
Yeah, a rematch.
That's
basically.
Awesome. Yeah, Khaled smashed him.
Yeah, Khaled beat him. I don't know. To me, I can't see a version of Alex to Schoolboy trying, being prepped and everything like that, and having
losing Khaled.
Yeah, personally.
But this is going to solidify that opinion of yours even more. They may push the date back because Khaled has an MMA fight that week.
Yeah, from that day.
Right. And so he's doing just like his match with Larry. He fought the week before and then went in.
Yeah. I mean, again, pulling Larry and pulling Schoolboy.
Two different worlds.
That's different levels. Yeah.
I could beat Larry. I don't think I could beat Schoolboy.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd like to pull Schoolboy. That'd be awesome.
Right, but a huge kid.
Cool to see where I'm at.
Yeah. And he's only going to keep getting stronger. And then obviously we have Lachlan Adair and Rackley. I hate to say his last name. Zurikashvili.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah.
Something B.
Yeah. Shvili. Yeah. Zurikashvili. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I like both guys.
Me too.
I like Lachlan more than I like Rackley, just because
I like Rackley because everyone knows I do
have a conversation with Lachlan.
Yeah, Lachlan's a better friend, but I like Rackley more just because he has the skinnier jeans.
That's what I literally was gonna say. That's why I can't get behind him.
Oh,
because if I do, my penis will get hard.
Oh yeah, that's why I want to get behind him.
He's got a cute little butt.
Yeah, he looks great. Yeah,
sexy jeans.
I love Rackley like that. Not that Lachlan
I have to imagine he smells nice. Europeans, they're either hit or miss, with the scent. They either go hard with the cologne, they smell great, or
I think he wears a lot of cologne, but he still smells good.
Do you think he has nice body odor?
Yeah,
probably.
I think I think he smells like a combination.
If I had to guess, he was probably he's probably smooth as a seal.
I was gonna say I think
he gets out of the shower and just wipes it down one time and it's just
done. Yeah, I think he smells like lifting chalk and cocoa butter.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and a little musk, a little something musky.
Yeah, a little man to him, but not a lot.
Yeah,
just a little
I think he's
I get it. You don't want too much head.
No. And then obviously we have Dave Chafee and under less important things than Rackley's body, Dave Chafee and Vitaly Lennate.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
I'm super excited for that. Yeah. I saw a stupid troll post on Facebook. I'm not going to bring it up, but God, it annoyed the shit out of me.
You have to bring it up.
I know I did.
Okay, don't bring it up.
Don't bring it up. Yeah, I don't want to fucking go like
to it. We'll see. So, I was talking, I always go live right before we do this, just to remind everyone to head over to the channel and stuff like that. And, I was saying that for me, while of course I'm going to root for Dave because Dave's a good dude, Dave's American, and just a, friend, he's super he compliment, Dave's a great guy. However, if it's way less interesting if Dave beats Vitaly, you know, because after losing to Gennady and losing to Levon,
there's no chance for Levon, right? So, but if Vitaly comes out and like
just
Dave,
murks him,
then you're like, shit.
Yeah,
maybe.
then there's hope
because it'll just solidify the match styles make matches.
Yeah, right? But I'm saying if Dave comes out and beats Vitaly, it just puts Levon even further out of. I
still believe that's the case.
I do too.
I look back at like just matches I've had with people, like my first term I did, things like that, where like I hit on someone and like, just because, mind you, it was mainly because I was inexperienced, but they were able to like stop it. And then I re-gripped and went again. It wasn't even anything. Like I knew I could have ripped their arm right off. Right. And then like people see Levon slow down Vitaly, or get slowed down by Vitaly. And then they're like, oh, that means like maybe there's a lane, or like how Devin like kind of slowed it down a little bit at the bottom or whatever. It doesn't mean that like the next surge wasn't guaranteed. Dude, it's guaranteed.
I'm shaking my head because I agree with what you're saying.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So I feel that same way with like Vitaly and Levon. Like there's no lane.
I don't know. I mean, no, like I said, if he came out and just top rolled the shit up, but then again, that's exactly what Levon did to Dave too. So yeah. I don't even know how he'd have to flash pin him like 5 times in a row and maybe, you know.
Yeah, then you're like, okay, then maybe
or like fuck with him, you know what I mean? Like,
let him and then bring him
back.
Like
it'd have to be something like that to show like and look at the camera and be like, Levon, I'm coming for you, or some shit like that, you know what I mean? And it's like it'd have to be that crazy. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's any match for Levon.
I don't think so either.
I don't even think we should talk about him anymore.
No, I don't think
I was talking about this last night.
Maybe Ryan Bowen.
Well, Bowen definitely. Yeah. Well, he would beat him, but we don't want to ruin Levon's legacy.
Yeah.
Last night, someone on my live show asked me, do I think anyone in North America in the next 5 years will have a chance against Levon? And my answer to that was yes, I do, because I think Levon is getting a taste of stardom. He's getting a taste of fame and money, and then you lose focus. It happens to guys all the time at the top.
Yeah, Conor McGregor,
they fall off. And if I were Levon and someone's going to pay me, several $100,000s to star in some fucking stupid movie.
Yeah.
I'm starring that stupid fucking movie.
You're skipping curls that day.
You're right.
You're going on set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's I believe that will happen.
Yeah.
And I think like Levon will diminish over the years.
Yeah. I mean, he has to. I mean,
you can only run it for so hard. You can only push your body for so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Granted, arm wrestling isn't powerlifting where you're taking on that crate, or strongman, or even weightlifting where you're under high load, like overhead or under the body, things like that, where it really stresses out the joints. Arm wrestling, I think you can get away with it and do it longer. I think we're seeing that with John and Ron and guys like that. But those guys aren't at Levon's level of pushing things, force feeding, PDs, all that, the training, it's, and then like not doing anything else, resting. That's like the biggest thing. Like when I was at my strongest, like the thing that made me my strongest wasn't what I was doing, or what I wasn't doing, right? I wasn't doing anything, but we got Paul Linn. Like I'm sure Levon is recovering in most of his off time. And then once he gets more popular, he's not going to be able to recover like he used to.
No, I agree.
Paul, how you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing, guys?
Ladies and gentlemen, the nicest man in arm wrestling, Paul Linn.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Oh, please. Put your clothes on. Thank you. Paul, thank you for staying up for us, brother. I know it's late over there on your side of the world.
Yeah, no problem, man. Couldn't miss it.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, we're pumped.
How you doing, man? How are things?
I can't complain. It's another day, just the grind. All about it.
Yeah, you in the gym? Are you in the gym today or what?
Absolutely. Monday through Friday at a minimum.
All right, attaboy, same here. What does your training look like right now? I know we got a lot of things to cover, but let's talk about training. It's one of our favorite topics to talk about. It's definitely my favorite. And I like to ask everyone what they're doing. Well, what is it that you're doing? Are you doing arm wrestling specific stuff in the gym? Are you doing just like bro style training, powerlifting? What is it? What does Paul Linn do to be this freak with his hand?
No, I mean, so I come from that. Like I'm addicted to the gym, period. And that was before arm wrestling. So that's what I went to school for. I have a master's in X Phys and all that good stuff. So I've been in the gym, sport specific training, predominantly football. That I run a strength program at a high school. So I have access to that gym basically 24/7. So yeah, that was my base to come into arm wrestling and kind of excel a little bit quicker than most. So now what I've done is just basically take my 5-day split that I adapt every now and then, and work arm wrestling in conjunction with my push versus pull day. So between every set that I do for regular strength, I do a set of arm wrestling specific stuff. I can't give up that strength base. I'm a strong believer that in order to maximize yourself on the table, you have to also be strong. I know there's a lot of guys out there like Devin who just do table time and arm wrestling specific stuff, but that's not me. I have to be strong. I don't have the tools he has.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you too. And everyone, I got an echo. Oh, bad. That was weird. You hear it?
Oh, I did not.
Oh, maybe it's just on mine.
Could be the weed.
Could be the weed.
Could be the weed.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I agree with that too. Like everyone's different. Everyone's going to respond differently. Like when just because Devin, what he's doing works for him doesn't necessarily mean I have the same muscle fibers or fast twitch as Devin. Where I need way different type of stimulus to excel. And especially with my move, your move is different too. It will kind of determine what kind of style of training you do.
Sure. And not to mention, Devin has those long levers, that huge, strong hand. Like, I'm not gifted with that. My hands are only slightly above average. So I have to adapt my training. My hand has to be like an extremely focused point in my training in order to get myself, that was the weak link when I first started, was just general wrist strength, understanding how to contain, understanding how to stay neutral and gain positive wrist. So that had to be my focus. First tool I ever really adapted to and put a lot of focus in was just a general wrist wrench, a thin diameter wrist wrench. That was the basis for everything. The minute I shored this up, I was able to access more power. So definitely move specific, and like it's definitely specific to your body type and what you have coming into the sport.
Are you working like a high rep range or a high intensity? What is it like? And I know your frequency is 5 days a week, but what's like your volume versus your intensity look like?
So like if I'm not training for anything specific, it's more volume. So like if I don't have a match where I'm focusing on certain specific components, then I'm usually sets between 20 and 10. And depending on when I have my table time. So if I have my table time on the weekend, I come in Monday, Tuesday, that's straight up volume, like hundreds of reps, just to get blood flow in there and stimulate the rehab and everything. But if I'm prepping for somebody where I know I need a certain component, whether that be pronation, supination, contain cup, whatever we're talking about, straight back pressure, then that's where I get to the point where I start pyramiding to 1 reps and tracking, that progress in those areas.
Will you start hitting 1 reps like 6 weeks out, or this like something you do a couple of weeks prior? Do you do it multiple times? Do you do like 3-2-1, 5-3-1? What is it? How do you kind of break that down?
So I mean, for the most part, I pyramid up. So like if I'm doing back pressure, static back pressure, or whatever, I'm still going to start with like a set of 20 or 10, and I'm going to work my way to that 1 rep just to get blood into those tendons, because you got a ton of soreness and all that good stuff. So I don't structure it like I would like regular strength stuff. Like if bench press training, I'm doing sets of 5 or sets of 3 or 3-2-1 or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start that. Like if I have 6 weeks to train or 8 weeks to train, I'll baseline those components that I want to work on. So I'll get that baseline, and then I'll start, let's say 6 or 8 weeks out, and I'll work to probably 2 weeks prior.
2 weeks
in those heavy ranges. Then those last 2 weeks, I dial it back.
Awesome. Yeah, that's whether you know it or not, that's like a typically what you would do for a taper, getting the CNS adaptation, even for powerlifting. It's very similar. So it makes a lot of sense. As I'm learning, hands and wrists and things like that, these are things that can operate at a higher intensity and higher frequency than muscles that I'm used to working, like squats and deadlifts and bench press, big movements. Where those, you do a high volume day, even with like mild intensity, you're pretty beat up, and it takes a while to recover from it. Where in these small joint manipulation stuff, or, pronation, cupping, all these kind of things, I'm learning that you can handle high intensity work very frequently, just not a lot of it. You're not going to go out there for 2 hours beating up your fingers, you know what I mean? But you can go out there for 30, 45 minutes and under a very, very high workload in terms of intensity, and then be able to do it again the next day. And I'm tracking a lot of progress with it. I really fucking like it. I've learned this through Jed Johnson. So
and Paul's going to work out right now. He's literally like, dude, I'm in the middle of a workout, so you're coming with me.
Yeah, Jed Johnson. Speaking of Jed, I literally was just chatting with him a minute ago. That's a good buddy of mine. Yeah. He's
a monster. He's a monster, man. He's got incredible hand strength. Every time I think I'm making progress, I go watch some of his old videos. I'm like, oh, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he's leaps and bounds above a bunch of people when it comes to anything hand related. So
absolutely,
there's no shame in that at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I hired him.
Yeah, Paul. So I have a question for you. So if people don't know, you're one of the guys that like the famous Todd Hutchins, Todd, you started late into the sport. Like you're not like a guy that came in and no, I know you had a strength background, you said, but you were how old when you started arm wrestling for the first time?
35.
Okay.
35.
And
yeah,
like,
I'm 41 now.
And a question I had for you is how much, like, I know you came in, like you said, you had a lift and everything. You and Brandon we're all just talking about here. What's changed in your journey? Like as far as what have you learned? Like when you first started training that you're like, damn, I would love to go back and tell myself, even though you're smart, we got it, like your bachelor or master's degree in sports science or whatever you said you were. But what have you learned that you don't learn in school?
Oh man, overtraining for this sport, overtraining and not listening to your body. I came in straight up meathead mode. Like, what are these guys complaining about? Right. This is soreness. Like, what is all the complaint? I hear the word injury when I was coming in. I heard the word injury thrown around a lot. And I'm like, what am I doing in this sport where everybody's injured constantly? These guys aren't injured. They're hurt. That's pain. That's lactic acid. I'm tired of hearing the plus. But then I realized on the back end that, I trained myself into injuries for sure. My frequency, my intensity, all that stuff was way too high. And my frequency and durations on the table was way too high. I competed too often. I did everything wrong. And I did it from a straight up meathead background mentality where like, why is everybody crying about pain? Like, get over it. Like it's a sport. Like it's supposed to hurt. And then before you know it, that tendonitis, that ache in the elbow or the shoulder becomes chronic. And then you have to take time off or you have to get a procedure done.
Yeah, it's something I've learned the hard way over the years myself, man. I'm definitely tougher than I'm smart. And I've caused a lot of injuries through powerlifting that I definitely could have avoided. And here I am at 33 years old now in the sport. I've learned a lot of hard lessons and I'm trying my best not to remake them, even though it's new and exciting and you feel like the tendons and muscles get away with it. But I think I'm doing a pretty good job at managing it and not accepting matches and shit like that and letting my head get too big and just staying in the garage and grinding. But I'm sure I can use improvement.
Yeah. So Paul, how often now, what does your table time look like? And like, what is like a typical in a month? Like how many times you're on the table? And if so, how long, what's your intensity like, yada, yada.
Once a week. And okay, that's, unless I feel like I absolutely need twice. And if I do need twice, it's going to be one intense day where it's, beat it up till it's dead. And then one technique day. And I'm blessed enough to have some pretty good technical training partners local around me where I can go work specific things with guys who have a better hand or have a better arm. So I can get on the table maybe with midweek if I need to. But normally my training is once a week. It's either Thursday in Maryland or Saturday or Sunday here, depending on if I'm traveling anywhere.
No, you've been arm wrestling for 6 years.
Yep.
3 years ago, would you recommend the same frequency once a week?
Yeah, I think what I was doing 3 years ago was way too much. It was like, and it wasn't that the increments were too much, but it was more that I was going way too hard. I was staying on the table way too long without breaks and things like that. And then I was competing basically, my first couple of years. I think my first year I did like 30 tournaments or something dumb, and I was doing them back to back to back and never stopping. And I was training up into the day of competition. So like heavy training in the gym, don't worry about it. Just go up and, go and compete. And if there was a midweek tournament, I would compete on Saturday and then compete again when the next one was. So I made those mistakes for sure. Now I'm definitely more picky about when and where I go.
Yeah, I only ask because majority of our audience is newer guys and things like that. And the biggest thing that I have a problem with or that I see in the sport is that you have guys that are 30, 25 years in telling these guys what they should be doing now because that's what they're doing. But the point I was trying to make is like, you shouldn't be doing what they're doing now. You should be doing what they're doing 25, 30 years ago when they first started to get to where they're at. And, I think that's just overlooked a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I think like when I made a reference where maybe the last show or the show before when with Todd Hutchins, when he says, you know, he doesn't do his grip training, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do bench press, he doesn't do bicep curls. And I'm like, I guarantee Todd 5 years into the sport was doing bench pressing and bicep curls and everything. He just may not need to do them now,
Sure.
but it doesn't mean that these lifts and stuff aren't important, and especially if you're just starting out.
And it would be, I think, ill-advised to argue that he wouldn't be better if he were doing those things.
I would think that too. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
granted, your body can only.
Todd Hutchings definitely does bench press and
he's just lying to us.
Yeah.
What is he telling y'all? What is he telling y'all? I have specific bicep stuff that I do because Todd told me to do it.
Yeah. See, kids, he's lying. He's lying to you, kids.
He does some unique stuff. He does some things with bands. He calls them bobbly weights and stuff for stabilizers. But he definitely does biceps. He might not be crushing them like maybe we do, where we're going for 1 rep maxes and static holds. He might not do the traditional style, but he definitely does.
Yeah. No, I think exactly.
So,
exactly. So Paul, speaking of competing, now that you're not competing 32 times a week, what your next event is? What is the Monster Factory? Is that your next one?
Well, I've been in contact with Angan.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do East versus West 5. I couldn't do 4 because it butts up too close to football season. We start camp next week. So I'm going to do 5 against a Georgian. I believe he hasn't booked it officially yet.
Sure.
But the larger Georgian, and then I have the Monster Factory 3.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
Yeah,
no, it's awesome. So hopefully I'll see you down at the Monster Factory, man. And
Are you going?
My wife's got the match against Rebecca.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
Rebecca, so I'm really pumped about that. But
that's a great
speaking
environment, man. That's
I
a great
can't wait.
environment. I love it.
Wait. We're super blessed. Speaking of East versus West, obviously the big East West 4s this weekend. Like I said, you just said you weren't going to be on it, but what are some standout? That's what we wanted to talk to you about. And I'm so happy we got Brandon. We're so pumped we got you on, because you're a dude that has been there. You've done the travel. You've pulled against, I can probably close my eyes and point, and you pulled against that guy, or you got data against that guy. What matches are you looking forward to? Which matches you think are going to surprise people? Like, what's Paul Linn's analyst or, analysis of this card?
Oh man, I just can't wait to see my guys, Raymond's Life Engine and Ryan Bowen. They're going to open things up, and I think that one's going to be. I actually think it's going to be a really good match. I think that if Ryan stops it, and Ryan's saying he wants to go into a hook, and if he can stop it in the hook, that thing is going to be a barn burner. So I'm looking forward to that one big time. Obviously,
you think Ray's the favorite?
I don't know if he's the favorite, but I'm rooting for him.
Right. I want Ray to win too, but I just don't see it happening.
I don't know. We did the fix last week, and Ray said that he hasn't lost a practice pool in like 3 or 4 weeks.
I don't lose practice pools either when I'm pulling the small guys.
Right. No, I mean, he's got Sandra Settis over there, like legit. Vlad the Destroyer. He's got Giannis Amelins. He's got Raymond Antonovich. And if he's beating those guys, he leveled up. So I don't know if I make him the favorite. I think Ryan's body of work isn't quite there yet. Like, because we haven't seen him he hasn't been able to travel. He's stuck over there in that island. And we haven't seen him against the level of competition that Ray's been. But Ray's kind of like a known quantity. I pulled Ryan years ago. I never pulled with Ray, but I've seen a lot of people he's pulled, and I believe that his trajectory is good enough where we're going to see a good match. But I wouldn't necessarily make either the favorite. I think it's kind of a toss-up match, and there's so much unknown about Ryan. Like, what's he going to come in at? It's a 90-kilogram weight cap. Ryan was walking around at 220 last time I saw him, so that's going to be, and I think he's slow cutting.
That'll play a role.
Yeah, he just got a haircut though. I think he's like 185 now.
Really?
He just shaved a haircut. Yeah.
I would love to see a back and forth match.
Yeah,
and then because I think Ray has the endurance. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't have enough data on either one of them. But I just remember
Ryan will grind too. Ryan can grind too. If that match stops, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Interesting. I just remember Ray's match at King of the Table 1.
Yeah,
that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Down 3-0 and then came back 4-3.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yeah, again, both guys.
Mazzadir, what was that guy's name?
Yeah, the Indian dude. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. What's so funny is you hear both guys. Obviously Ryan Bowen. Nobody believes in themselves more than Ryan Bowen does, and so he somehow broke the screen.
I got a call.
Oh, Brandon's messing our video.
Exit that out.
Yeah. So, Ryan's so confident. Ray said, like you just said, alluded to, Ray's super confident. So super, super awesome match. What else is, obviously we got Chafee and Morzov. We got Cody Merritt and Morzov, two guys I know you know real well. What do you think of that? What do you think of that match? Or those matches?
I mean, I think Chafee's too much right now. I think Artem Morzov is like the future of the sport. And if you haven't seen this guy in real life, he's a freaking monster.
He made Derek Smith look normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're talking about a guy who weighs less and is like, I had no idea he was as tall as he is. He's like 6'5". Yeah. And I think he's coming to this match at like 295, like sub 10% body fat. He just doesn't, he's abnormal looking. Yeah, I think he's the future. I just don't know if he's ready for a guy like Dave, who he's never grabbed before. That strength, the way Dave accesses it is so kind of awkward. It's going to be a huge test for him. If he can make Dave arm wrestle at all, if Dave doesn't just cut right through him, I think it says a lot for Artem. And I have Cody picked, and I know Artem's better handed is his left. But what I'm hearing from the guys out in Utah, and Brandon, you guys might know a little bit more being where you're at geographically, but Cody is there's talk that he's in his best form ever. And we're talking about a super heavyweight world champion, the only United States world champion in the open class that we've had in many years. Yeah, so I think the guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think I think Cody is undebatable number one left-handed.
Yeah, I agree with Paul though. I think the only thing that's stopping Artem right now is literally his time in and his age. I think.
How long has he been arm wrestling?
I don't know. He's just 24. I think he's super
25.
young. So.
Yeah, he's 24, 25 young. Yeah. So he's been in this since he was 20.
Even if if it's 15, it's 10 years only. Right. But I'm talking Dave and Cody got that man strength that, like you said, I don't know if he's felt anything like that. So we're gonna see. We're gonna find out in a couple days.
I mean, Artem kind of hit the scene during COVID, when they were doing some of those like isolate. I forget the name of the promotion that did it.
Well, World of Strength did a YouTube video which like shows like all like strong people doing stuff, and that's how I found out about Artem. And I same as you, bro. I was like, oh yeah, this dude's probably like 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
And then you see the stats and you see him in person. Yeah, like, this motherfucker's a giant.
Yes, and he's getting bigger. Like he just keeps getting bigger, and he's not gaining any excess bot. Like it's all lean, and he's still a baby.
Yeah, it's very enhanced.
And what do you think about another big match for me that I'm really pumped? I mean, the two I'm really pumped for is that one and Jerry and Gennady, and then Todd and Prudnik.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those are the big ones. Yeah. I'm rooting hard for Todd. To me, it really depends on what version of Prudnik comes in. We know Todd's coming in top shape. So
that fucking video was so cringe.
Which one?
I want Todd to win so bad.
Did you see Todd's?
Todd's are pretty fucking bad in the past.
Was way worse. It was a bad one for Todd.
Was it a remake or like a rebuttal?
Yeah, it was Todd rapping, but he had no music.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Fuck. Guys, we might have to pause the show. We might have to pause the show.
If you want to maintain your sanity, do not head over to Todd's.
Okay. I'll take your.
We're watching it right when this is over.
It'll ruin your opinion of Todd.
But Prudnik's was.
I've already.
I saw Prudnik's and I was like, oh my god.
I thought Prudnik's was amazing, especially compared to Todd's. Yeah,
and then
he looked good too. I thought he looked really nice.
Yeah, he looked jacked.
Yeah, he looks good.
And just that good angle where he floats his arms in front of him.
Yeah, he looks good.
And leans back, so it makes his hands just look fucking massive.
Yeah, he does have massive hands though. But I think he looks good. Yeah.
All right. Then, so what was the other one that
I said? Gennady and
Jerry.
Yeah, and then Todd. So what were you going to say though? What are you saying about? What do you think? How that match?
I think it's going to be. It's really going to be. I think Todd surprised a lot of people. With the way he's handled people. And I mean, we get to see him pull Iraqli, and then we get to see Marcio pull Iraqli. And I honestly thought Marcio was going to beat Iraqli, just pressure, but it wasn't there. I know Marcio got tweaked early on in the match, but I mean, Todd just looks so dominant against Iraqli. He seems to show up against certain styles. I think the big difference is the fact that Prudnik can hit the top roll so much faster. He's a clean top roller, and he has the hook option. So I think it's going to be a great match because depending on how things go for Prudnik, we might see it go all over the place. So we'll get to see who the best 220 hook is. I'm not sure what the weight cap is for that. I'm guessing it's 100 kilograms, but I don't know to be sure.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either.
Yeah. I don't really care.
Yeah,
I just want to see them come in healthy, both, and be fucking strong.
And they're both talking shit, with the head rubbing and stuff. So it's
stupid
got
videos.
Like,
I mean, we have confirmed in the chat that the Todd video was worse. So
the Todd video is worse. It's just worse.
Yeah. Can it get worse?
It got worse. Yeah. And I love Todd, but
Jesus.
I unsubscribed from his channel after that one.
I might just do it without watching.
Yeah. It's better. It's just better.
Right.
Just unsubscribe.
Okay. So what's your opinion on Big Jerry?
Man, I'm rooting for Jerry. I'm rooting for him. We haven't seen him compete in a long time. And it really comes down to that style. So Gennady figured out the King's move with Michael Todd. Gennady and both Rivas, they figured that out. Well, now you're getting hit with the second most biggest one-off move in the sport that is super hard to train for. It's very hard to simulate that. I know I just looked at a video of Gennady talking trash and training and talking about endurance. I mean, I guess honestly, I think I favor Gennady in this just because of his activity level. But Jerry looks amazing, and he's such an X factor with that style. I would not be surprised if we see it go 3-0 Jerry, and I also would not be surprised if we see it go 3-0 Gennady.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's more likely 3-0 Gennady.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Gennady doesn't have a quit button in him.
Yeah.
There's no quit in that guy.
Yeah, and like you said, we know Jerry don't quit either because Jerry.
Jerry's not a bitch either. But and they're both like 330. Gennady's fucking huge.
That's a big dude.
Yeah. Like, I was in Dubai with him. I was like, this motherfucker's huge.
Yeah.
And Jerry, you can just tell he's big. Yeah. I've never seen him in person, but
he's big and he's lean right now.
But are we going to see that lizard tongue come out? Like, that's what I want. Let's talk about the real things. If we don't see the lizard tongue, I want a fucking refund on that tape review.
Yeah. I did. It's gonna be fun. I mean, he's gonna be sweating. Jerry's gonna be sweating. Gennady's gonna be going.
I'm gonna have like some seedless jam out just in case. So I put that. I'm gonna put it on myself. Maybe Jerry will do the. tongue.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, would you do it if I had it on me?
Yes.
We'll find out after the show.
Yeah, let's end it now. Hopefully, hang up, Paul. Hurry up.
Well, the other thing is we haven't seen Jerry arm wrestle on the 7x7 pads in a while.
Yeah,
we've seen him on the WAL pads, which allows a lot of people that give him problem to get to the back of the pad.
And his last match was against Chance Shaw. He got destroyed
online.
Wait. I just want to clarify, Paul. So you think the 7x7 pads give Jerry a disadvantage because people can run away further? You're saying?
No, I think it gives him an advantage. Less room to run. Room to run. As long as Jerry can stay on the pad on the front left corner, I think that it allows for less options as far as retreat. He's going to come all the way across the table if he needs to.
Does that 7x9 pad, does it go an inch forward and an inch backwards, or just 2 inches backwards?
Just back.
Oh yeah. So
backwards.
Oh yeah. So it's gonna favor Jerry on the 7x7.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay, guys. What I thought so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Okay, go. Cool. Because again, I remember, back with the, the King of the Table one and Devin and Michael, and, everyone was saying that they don't, that the pad didn't make a difference. And I'm like, when that arm wrestling is a game of millimeters and you add 2 more inches, that's so much extra.
I can stop guys so much easier if I can come off the back of the pad.
That's what I'm saying. I just
so much easier.
If you're that King's move guy in that open end top or William McCoy and you got that much more, your arm has to be that much longer to freaking pin the guy. And it's just such an awkward, nobody can get the power from there. And you see, guys like what's his name, Rivas, who's going against Derek, do that to Michael Todd because there's no way in hell he'd have been able to get on the WL pad.
But Rivas also was coming way across the table.
Oh, I agree. But I'm saying, there's no way though he would have that. He was at the peak of his.
Yeah, exactly. If Michael Todd had 2 more inches and your shoulder calls, it would have been a wrap.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, 2 more inches and Rivas can't keep his hand behind his shoulder.
100%. That's how I look at it.
Here, and there's no press. It's not. It's just like we saw we saw Todd Hutchings arm wrestle Michael Todd, right? When Todd loses his hand, it's open. You know what I mean? His side pressure is out here. He doesn't really have that press, and you see the difference. This guy's the side pressure king. He can match anybody. Like I would take Todd Hutchings in a straight up hook side pressure war with just about anyone. But when you're away from your shoulder, there's less access.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. A bit. Let me think. What else? I mean, and again, at this point, does anyone bet against John against Ungabaya? Yeah.
See, Angerbayev is another unknown quantity.
Yeah.
Like, I think if we saw like a peak Angerbayev, he would be the favorite. But he's coming off that shoulder surgery, and I think he had an outing at Europeans or something over there where he didn't finish. He didn't finish well. But he's telling Angan that he's good and ready to go. So whenever any of us young guys get an opportunity to pull John, we're gonna come in as best as we possibly can. But I do think that Angerbayev presents the toughest challenge yet to John, and not necessarily because of where he's at, but more because of his style. When we look at John's track record on his comeback, he struggled against the guys that could kind of take his hand. We look at Dimitri Ketchen out of Texas. I mean, he had John's wrist completely compromised. He had to basically press through him and side pressure through him. The question here is John going to be able to keep that positive or flat wrist? And, is Angerbayev going to have enough to finish outside? And we just haven't seen. I mean, we see him arm wrestle Corey, guys who are coming at him, Zurab, they're coming at him. This is the curveball as far as styles. So I do think this is a very close match, and it's hard to predict. But I mean, like you said, how you gonna bet against John? How you gonna do it?
Yeah, at this point, right? Yeah, I think for me, like the two X factors are, like you said, Angerbayev. Despite, I'm just looking, Angerbayev is a stylistic person. Like, he's so dang fast and he's so damn tenacious. I mean, he keeps hitting. And to me, in my opinion, to this date, that's the dude that gave Levon his toughest match to this date. And that, which is so crazy how small he is, but just his ferocity. I mean, like around what John weighs, right around 220.
He's a 100-kilogram guy, maybe.
Yeah, about 220. Yeah.
He pushed to get that big. I know he was.
He tall?
I think when top 8 started, he was like a 90 guy.
Yeah, for sure. He was so much smaller.
John's deceivingly tall.
Yeah, I don't know if he's John's height.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Is this Angerbayev? Is he 6 foot at least? I mean,
I think he is. I think he's a little bit over. I think he might be 6'1". I could be wrong. I'd have to look.
But definitely a lean dude. Yeah.
Right.
And
he looks great.
But the other factor that I'm factoring into this now is John completely going to be recovered? Because he redlined to the one that we've seen him go against Corey. Now I know that's an ample amount of time, but
he's healthy. He said he's healthy. I mean, I don't think we're not looking at injuries that should mess with this one. I think it really just comes back to like John's trajectory. He's still getting stronger. So,
I think the match of Corey helps him.
You think?
Because it redlined him, put him, it's going to have that much more of a CNS adaptation as long as he has enough time to recover, which we believe he does.
Yeah.
I think that's going to I think that match was great for him.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, he's coming off a 2 like that with Zurab and Corey, like where he had to go, like he had to figure it out in the 5th round. You know what I mean? I think all those things, and him getting redlined mentally, like, what the hell is going on here, is somewhere that he hasn't been probably for a long time. So I do think that if that doesn't spark motivation, I don't know what does. So I mean, I think we're going to see the best version of John out there without a doubt, unless there is some nagging injury we don't know about.
Yeah, and he said even with the Corey match, he said a lot of his stamina issues, he was still fighting off a cold or something like that. I don't know if you knew any more about that because you were down there with him or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, he I know he had a little bit of like his voice wasn't right a little bit, but he didn't complain about anything. Like he didn't build any preemptive excuses or anything, but he kind of laid low, stayed in the air conditioning most of the time on the lead up. He meant, like, the way he gets ready for a match is just different. He's so even keel and like it's almost like uninterested until he's like mid match. It's cool to watch.
I experienced this firsthand. I was in the buy with him at King of the Table. We're in the back. Me, John, and Hermes are on one side, and then Gennady, Devin, and Larry on the other side. And it was very strange because, like, I'm fucking terrified. You know what I mean? I have no idea. Everyone's telling me Larry's going to kill me. And, it's just so nerve wracking. And John, he's got this huge match with Devin. It's all this film production crews there. And he's cool as a fucking cucumber, man. Just no, he doesn't care. And then we get on the table and he's like, hey, let me feel your back pressure. So this is like before the match, like we're warming up. And the table, like, give him some back pressure. And he's like, oh, yeah, you got good back pressure. And then I had just warmed up with another guy. So I was kind of tired, you know what I mean? And then he was like, I was like, oh, do you need to warm up or anything? And he's like, oh, no, I never warm up before a match. I fucking panicked. I'm like, shit, did I do too much? I'm like, how much time we got? And then me and Larry, we thought we were going to be the first match, but then they changed it to
Gennady and Hermes.
Gennady and Hermes. So I was like, okay, cool. I got a little more time. I'm rubbing my arm out, like totally overthinking everything. Because here's the greatest arm wrestler of all time telling me he doesn't warm up for a match. My dumbass spent 15 minutes warming up.
Yeah, you just fucked it up. Everything.
John's almost like the antonym to everything that is standard arm wrestling, though.
That's
like,
true.
He's the guy who refuses to do any gym stuff, says just get on the table. Like, a lot of what John says is not what the regular, normal, mortal human.
He's a genetic freak, right? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He's an outlier. That's for
yeah,
sure.
but that's what's so crazy. It's like, most people, if you're brand new to the sport and you're like, I want to learn how to the pros train, there's probably one of two names you Google, John Brzenk or Devin Larratt, and the two guys I would never tell you to train like.
Right. Yeah, the worst advice.
Like the worst advice. Devin's like, oh, look, it's a spiritual thing with your thumb,
right.
and John's telling you never go to the gym and just pull once a week, you'll be fine.
Once a week, you'll be all right.
Yeah, you're just like a little bit of ice.
He's giving me a couple lectures about the gym. Like, he's like, just listen to me, just stop going and just do it for like one match. And I'm like, I can't, John, I got OCD. I can't do it.
Yeah, same here. I can, like, even though I'm not a competitive powerlifter anymore, I'll always be a powerlifter in the gym, no matter what.
Yeah,
I have to do my lifts.
But again, I think it's the thing that we've talked about this before on the show, but I think it's the thing that is making guys like Vaughn and Irakli, these guys are just keep gaining, is because I think they're on such a good gym regimen compared to, the American style. Like, let's get some beers, man, and fucking pull, motherfucker. You know what I mean? And
they probably do coke at their practices.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But coke and shrooms 100% is the staple of Georgian arm wrestling. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how can you I would love to see what would happen if you switch it around and at least let Vaughn pull weaker people for a long time and put Devin in the gym, like what would that look
like? Yeah. I mean, I love the point you're making too, because like, listen, I like to go to practice and drink beers too. I drink beers with the best. I enjoy it. I like the social aspect, but when I'm in the gym, the training part in the gym, and then the table time coming up to a match, if you're not treating your training professionally, how can you expect to be a professional? Yep. Storm Chelino has always said that to me from day one. Like, he won't drink a beer at practice. He won't do it. He said, I'm a professional. I ain't going to do it. I'm here to train. And I think that's a little bit extreme, but I also agree with it. Those guys over there are treating this sport like professionals. And I think a lot of the guys that are treating it the same way here are having success. There's definitely a thin line, but yeah, I would love to see Devin in the gym. He won't do it either.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that, because we did get confirmation from Chan Shaw when he was over there training and stuff that a lot of the guys actually don't follow a structured program. The ones that do are the top name guys that we know of and who have, more structured training. And those, that's just, same like in America, right? Like, you have majority of guys that just go to practice and have a good time. And then you have other guys that take a lot seriously. Yeah. And that all depends on phases too, in my opinion. 8 weeks out from it, you're not going to find me, getting fucked up at practice either. But that's not true. 6 weeks out with Larry.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But typically in powerlifting, I would go 4 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8 weeks, dude. That's big beers and blow. Yeah,
that's a lot. There's a lot of money to save too. Yeah. But again, the point they're making is that we always think the grass is green on the other side, or we always think that they're doing something that we're not, or things like that. I don't think it's the case. I really don't. I think majority of Europeans treat it like Americans do. We just have a stigma of it because we're more vocal on social media and we post our practices.
But also it depends on country to country, just like you said.
Yeah,
we don't train. We may train different than Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania trains different than different the city and the state. What I mean, whatever. So I know like Ukrainians, the Russians, the Bulgarians. It's definitely a structured thing over there. But some of the other countries are maybe just being like you said, more whatever. So, but again, I think it's individuals too.
What I did learn over there talking to Ray and Krasy and those guys, like Krasy is an arm wrestler. Krasy is an arm wrestling coach. He's subsidized. His job is to arm wrestle. He's paid by the government. Engen, same way. Engen does not work anymore. His money is based off of the Turkish Arm Wrestling Federation, how they do it, Europeans and Worlds. So I think when you have the ability to leave a regular 9 to 5 behind and say, I am truly just an arm wrestler. If your country supports you on that level, there's new heights to be reached. If I could train 3 times a day, I would. But
I think you're missing it. I think you're missing it, brother. I would never want the government in charge of my paycheck and things like that. We live in America where we have the ability to create businesses that fund these type of things. You can have a promotion, WAL. any promotion that will make this kind of money, you can do it without having, Uncle Sam fucking having his dick in your mouth.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not asking for that. Never would I want to. I make way too much money outside of it.
What I'm saying is that they don't have the opportunity that we do. They may get subsidized by the government, but the money they're making isn't fucking American money. You know what I mean? It's not good money.
I think Engen does pretty well. Not all of them do. I don't think Krasny does. Obviously, it's different, but I think it really comes back to what your environment sees the sport as.
Yes.
In the United States, we don't see arm wrestling as a sport. We see powerlifting as a sport. We see American football.
Not really. We have NFL. We have NBA. We have.
But in like Kazakhstan, that's what like Ongabayev's like an NFL player.
Exactly, because they don't have a successful NFL or NBA
right.
program.
But I'm saying he's like when he won, like he got treated with they gave him a car, an apartment, and everything like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it depends. It's region to region.
Still, you want to fucking live in Kazakhstan?
I don't know. Right now, probably compared to
yeah, you're
if it's
tripping.
cool. No, if it's cooler than Vegas, it's so hot
the
here right
heat
now.
sucks, but I
It's
never.
so hot.
You can't pay me $10 million to leave the States.
Yeah, I don't know. I lived abroad. I liked it better over there. It's better. It's better in Singapore. It's just hotter. It's just hotter over there. Wait, but I was going to ask you another thing, Paul. Damn it, I can't remember now. Yeah, but it's funny you're talking about the beer and stuff like that. And what's going on with Storm Chalina?
He's still, I mean, he's doing the general life stuff. He's got a couple things going business wise, real estate endeavors that have kind of pulled him away. He still trains. He's still here. I think him and Sam are guys that are kind of sitting, waiting for that big call for that big event or WAL to come back. Those guys, where they're at in the sport now, they're not really interested in a local tournament or a local super match. They want to shoot for the stars or just kind of keep making money on what they're doing. They're both doing extremely well financially. So I think that's kind of got their focus drawn towards that.
But you said they're both training. Like, I mean, is it possible we could see Sam Harris in the East versus West?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it has to make sense for Sam. He's got that roofing company that he's running now. It's doing very well. So it really comes down to schedule for Sam. But Sam has his own team. He's got a couple brothers that arm wrestle and then local guys, and he kind of runs that. So you know that they're training. He's training at a minimum to help those guys keep progressing. And Storm's very similar. So they're still arm wrestling. They're still in the gym. And speaking of a weirdo in the gym and grip wise, Storm Chalino is a weirdo. Weirdo.
I
so
saw
like,
him
about Jed Johnson and like Storm and Jed have gotten together and stuff, and Storm's dabbled into like the grip stuff, and talk about somebody who doesn't train at all and just comes in and does super weird stuff. That's him.
Dude, I saw Storm do like the 4-inch country clutch, like the blocks, and do like 15 pull-ups on them and stuff like that. And it's like hard. It's hard for strong people to hold themselves up there for 1 second.
Right.
Dude,
He right around when Brian Shaw did the inch dumbbell incline press.
Oh yeah.
Right around that time when Brian did that, Storm had ordered 2-inch dumbbells. And I was at the gym with him. He said, I'm going to try and farmer's walk with him. So he farmer's walked with him for 30 yards without his thumb, just to say he did it, which is like retarded.
Hey, we're running out of time because we can sit here and chat with you forever. Easy to talk to you, but we do want to get your opinion on King of the Table 5.
Oh yeah,
we have a couple matches that were just announced. We got Lachlan versus Irakli.
Ooh, well, we're gonna find out how good Lachlan's hand really is.
Right.
That's getting.
That's what you're referring to, right? Against Sanders, right? This weekend.
No. We're talking about versus Irakli.
No, I didn't know if he meant like we're gonna find how good Lachlan's is this weekend.
We're gonna find out this weekend. We're gonna find out this weekend. I believe Lachlan has a decent chance against Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I seeing this match with Irakli come out before the result of that is kind of questionable to me, because we do like if he gets folded by Sanders, then
no one wants to see that, right?
Yeah, but I think Lachlan's going to do really well against Sanders, and if he does, then he's going to get another level up test as far as pure top rope. And Irakli is big, as he doesn't look big, but he's big and he's getting bigger. Yep. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be a real interesting one. But we'll see how this weekend goes. It's
like Hermes Gasparini. Hermes is fucking huge. Hermes is massive in person. Like he's deceivingly.
Yeah.
He's a very weird structure online. He doesn't look big.
He's like a John. John doesn't.
Yeah, it's
look
like
big
John, right?
that.
Yeah,
He's just
but,
so big and blocky
right,
everywhere.
But, Hermes is much bigger than John.
No, but I'm saying, but that
Yeah,
same type of thick wrist, everything's thick. So you don't look like Dexter Jackson, where you're like
Right.
super skinny little bones, and you see him in person, you're like, oh, you're little.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of that.
And then the other match was obviously, well, the big one is we'll say that one. The next one would be Khaled versus Schoolboy.
Oh,
Rematch.
Yeah,
you don't care.
That's how I feel too.
I mean, I think Schoolboy's a real arm wrestler. Not to take anything away from Khaled, and I know he's training for arm wrestling, but Schoolboy's proficient. I mean, he's won Junior Worlds. He beat a lot of people.
Khaled beat Schoolboy last time they pulled.
Right. I just think the trajectory.
It makes sense. And well, this is going to solidify that opinion even more. Khaled has an MMA fight the week of.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well, I'll be looking for that to come up on Steak Kings.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Not a bad idea.
It's probably going to be shutout stakes, I would imagine, for Schoolboy. I would imagine.
Yeah,
even with the, like you said, again, that was like a practice match. It was like after.
Well, and and Schoolboy had a bunch of left-handed matches prior, but his right arm was fresh. But still, you get tired, man. You're fucking tired.
Yeah.
All right. Then the main card is Dave Chafee versus Vitali.
Oh my goodness.
Remember, this was already supposed to happen, but then Alex had to step in. Alex Production stepped in for him.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I don't love that matchup for Dave if Vitali comes in the form where he pulled Levon. I think it could be really interesting, but Vitali has that perfect clean low hand top roll for Dave's whole hand setup. I'll be rooting hard for Dave, but man, you know what? We saw Vitali with Saliev, and he didn't look himself. And I don't want to take anything away from Saliev, but like Vitali did not look ready, did not look prepared, did not look into it. I gotta believe that at King of the Table, with all the money and the cameras and everything else, we're gonna see like the best version of that dude.
So now, if Dave comes out and just smashes him, that's going to make it very uninteresting for Levon.
Yeah. Yes. And but that has to be weighing. That has to be weighing on Vitali.
Right.
Like, yeah. To show up. The pressure's on.
But if Vitali comes up and Dave gives him any bit of a fight, it doesn't interest me at all with Levon either.
Same.
Like Vitali has to dominate Dave.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I said, like, of course I'm rooting for Dave because he's a friend and I'd love to see him win. But it's like for the sport, it's better for the sport if Vitali wins and comes out and, like he says, just dominates him. And again, but I'd have to see Vitali. Me and Brandon were talking about. I'd have to see Vitali like literally flash him and then literally like toy with him, right? In order for you to be like, because if not, it still doesn't make, like you said, if it's even a little bit competitive, no matter who wins, we know there's that stratosphere that Levon lives on. That
Levon needs to get like in a couple movie roles. Like
Levon needs to get in a car accident.
Do a bunch of blow for a few years. Right. Lose interest.
Yeah, no, Levon needs to get into a car accident and like literally not be able to train, for a couple of
We definitely don't want that.
No, we don't want that. No, I love Levon.
Yeah.
No, but to me, he's just like, but I'm saying it has to be like a freak thing in order for him to come with that. Dude. And I think even if he just didn't train for an X amount of time, it's almost going to just make a match with the number two guys kind of competitive.
Right. This is a point I was making online to like all these kids, like when after Devin got beat. Now they're posting all these strong men, these big guys that, this guy could beat Levon if he trained for a couple of years and this and that. It's like, you fucking guys have no idea. Like, let's just say Brian Shaw, the absolute most genetically gifted guy that could do arm wrestling, right? If he trained for 5 years arm wrestling straight and Levon smoked crack for 5 years straight, Levon would still destroy Brian Shaw. Like, not even a match. Tendons are different than muscles. It's what
about Ryan Bowen?
Ryan Bowen would beat Levon.
Like Ryan
Bowen would beat Levon.
No, I was going to say if Ryan Bowen smoked meth for the next 5 years, like it's very possible that he at least believes that he can beat him.
He would go back to looking like he used to look in old YouTube videos.
That is true. Yeah,
he'll make 176 again.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He might get that match with Bishop finally. Method 44% stronger on crack.
Right. Hey, Paul, we know it's way past your bedtime. It's getting there to ours, brother. Where can people find you? They want to reach out to you or watch your content, or
I'm on Instagram, paul.linn.717 on Instagram, Lethal Arms Network on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. I respond to all DMs that aren't weird. So like if you have questions, I always respond. So if there's any training stuff that anybody
Hasn't responded to mine.
Yeah, yours are. It's all feet pics and dick pics.
I can
It's like, what is
leave
this?
It is for free. This one's on the house.
How can something with such big feet? That's well,
This one's on the house, bud.
yeah.
The question is when are we going to see my buddy Leroy Walker and Brandon Allen on the stage?
Dog, you ready?
When are we going to see it? He's texting me. He said, "Talk to Michael. Let's get it at the factory."
Yeah, we'll make it
That's
happen.
what
2023, we'll make it happen.
Okay. He's looking good. He just hit a tournament. Did well in the AMs. Looked pretty good. So
I watch everything that big boy does. I see him.
No, it'd be cool if you got the December 10th at Monster Factory. We all get to go to that.
I don't want to do that.
That's too close.
Yeah, I have too much going on right now with things that aren't competitive arm wrestling based.
Gotcha.
But again, hopefully
selfish purposes.
I would love to be on that card
cool,
too.
right?
Yeah. No, and me and Leroy actually, I was offered a match with Leroy earlier in the year. It just didn't make sense. I'm sure you understand what that means.
Yeah.
But it's making sense now. You know what I mean? Leroy's getting stronger. He's getting better at arm wrestling. He's definitely stronger than me in terms of, overall strength. He bench pressed 705 pounds. I watched him do it. Strict curl world record, the American record, 250 pounds.
Wow.
Just an absolute freak, 350 pounds. He's a mutant. So it'd be a handful for sure. But yeah, we got to do it on the table where it counts.
Yep. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Also, guys, you can find Paul regularly on the Fix. You'll Pickups channel.
Yeah.
I see him on there all the time. But we're gonna wrap it up here, brother. We appreciate you taking your time out and staying up late and having this conversation. Hopefully, we can do it again and maybe talk to you leading up to your match at Monster Factory.
Absolutely.
Or East versus West. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate it. We should have been on a long time ago, but thanks for the opportunity, and I'm sure I'll be seeing y'all soon.
Hell yeah, brother.
Awesome,
Appreciate
Paul.
it, man. Have a good night, man.
See you, brother.
Yeah. All right, now I feel weak. I should put my shirt back on.
I just hurt my arm.
Give me a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I just hurt myself trying to flex hard for Paul. even in good lighting, I still hurt myself. Yeah.
Right on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our guest, Paul Linn. We do appreciate him coming on because it is 3 hours later. It's 8:30 here, which is 11:30 there.
It's 4 a.m. for him.
Right.
It's like at least 4 a.m. for him.
Right. So we are very blessed to have him.
But I mean, that's why we wanted to have Paul on, and we know he could just talk shop. I mean, again, that's a dude we can just
this could have been a 3 hour podcast.
Oh, it's so easy, and that's the best guest, and that's why. But Paul's used to this.
Corey Miller, take notes.
And, but Paul's used to that.
Yeah, he's on the Fix all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But and to be honest, like Paul was a guy before I met him or anything like that. He was a guy who he said about he messages or responds to DMs. I sent him a DM like way back when I first started training, getting back into training. And not only did he respond, he left me like 6 voicemails. He's like, all right, man, look, dude, I don't listen to a lot of that. But he's a great guy who cares about the sport and he's a great
dude.
He
hasn't rated my wiener yet though.
That's fucking rude.
That's really rude.
Fuck that guy then.
Rate my schlong.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I give it the fire emoji.
Right. On a scale of 1 to 10, is it a 2?
At least.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, at least.
If I hit a 2, I'm fucking stoked.
That's not bad.
Right?
I need to go to bed.
You should too. All right, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Your Morning BJ. You guys know the drill. Say gay.